Hello and welcome to Staying Ahead of the Curve. I'm Jeff Snyder, Vice President and Senior Consultant with the firm Kamak Retirement Group. This program is designed to bring to you, the viewer, the latest trends and concepts in the U.S. retirement system. So let's get started. Welcome back, and I thought we'd now kind of shift directions to get the perspective of the service provider. With me now is Peter Kapinos, Head of Client Engagement with Empower Retirement. Peter, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
And behavioral finance is really kind of a new industry, well, relatively new. It's all the rage, and we talk about retirement readiness, but you're incorporating a lot of those concepts into these new products. I mean, you're trying to avoid paralysis by analysis, which is something that we all talk about when we're in front of clients, is mitigating that. Talk a little bit about the what you're seeing in that respect.
Yeah, so I love that expression, analysis paralysis, because for too long our industry has done just that. Let's load up a whole bunch of data, a long list of funds, hope that when a participant or a member logs on and gets their statement, they see a pie chart and somehow they're supposed to take that and convert it into a paycheck.
Yep.
So what we've done is focused on a few key tenets of this. First of all, we focus on income replacement is the paramount thing that we're displaying. So whether you're going online, you're attending an education meeting, you're getting something from us, while the balance is important, more of the focus is on what is the level of monthly income that you're going to receive in retirement. Why do we choose monthly? Well, you think about the way all of your finances are organized, whether you're thinking about the day you graduate college and or high school and you've got monthly rent or mortgages due to car payments, utilities, all the way through. We orient things toward monthly. And every part of the experience, we're always asking ourselves, what do we want this participant or member to do? So it's not just education for the sake of education, it's always oriented toward what is the next best step. One of the things, maybe I can just continue on it, is one of the things that we've rolled out recently that has gotten even better response than we thought we would have, is the notion of a peer comparison tool or top peer comparison. One of the behavioral science concepts dating back to the 1950s was the notion of social norming or peer comparison. And that is, let's say, Jeff, you and I are two participants, and if I'm the HR director, and we see this all the time, the employee goes in, they go to enroll, and they're maybe not sure 100% of what they're doing, so the next step is they go to the enrollment person and says, is this the right thing to do? And the next question, what's everyone else doing? We've taken that and we've used it in a way to help motivate people. So what we've done is you can actually say, how do I compare? You can take a look at your own savings behavior, your progress toward goal, and compare yourself to other individuals who are in your same salary range, your same age range, to take a look at it and say, not just how do you compare the average. While the average is helpful, it leaves half of your population thinking they don't need to do anything. That's why we actually give you the top 10% in your category. So you can see how average does, how the C student does, how the middle of the bell curve does, but you can also see where you need to be to keep up with the Joneses. And what we've seen is in the year or so that we've piloted that out, had it out in market, the before and after good savers, the average savings rate before folks use this is about 8%. After the fact, it gets them to about 10. And so some really good numbers. And that's just an example of the type of things that we're looking to bring to market.
But you've got to bring in, there are a lot of different components to being successful in retirement. I mean, you've got to bring in all these other expenses. First of all, you have to know how everything fits together. So if you have a DB plan, if you have Social Security, if you have outside investments, bringing that in. But then you've also got to bring in things like health insurance, right? Or what health costs are going to be in retirement. You've got to bring in things like rent or housing expenses, food expenses. All those things have to be baked in, do they not? I mean, that is what's going to lead you to understanding conceptually what that amount of income, monthly income, is going to be.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. I mean, when we look at our industry for too long, as I said, people focus on, and when you think about, can I afford to retire, you're oftentimes, to your point, you roll up and you say, what are my expenses today? If I'm living in my means, you kind of know roughly what you're spending, and it kind of equals out to what your income is, right? You generally live within your means. That all changes when you start thinking about retirement, to your point. You've got different income sources like Social Security, but you've also got an outlay, for example, of healthcare. I think the latest number that I've seen is 1 in 4 American workers today delays retirement because they were not anticipating healthcare. One study out said today that it's about $250,000 that the average married couple is going to spend on retirement and out-of-pocket healthcare expenses. So those are a couple of examples of where there are significant income gaps or understanding gaps. So what we've managed to do is we've rolled out tools like, for example, on the landing page of our web experience and another medium, we actually give you an income view that factors in things like Social Security. So you have at least an estimate that directionally brings you in the right direction, but then you can also take a look at how am I going to spend that money. And it gives you a personalized outlay of what healthcare might look like. So for example, and this is highly personalized, so I could take a look at it and say, we start off and we assume that you're healthy. You might be looking at $800 or $900 a month. Unless you've been unemployed paying COBRA, you have no idea what healthcare runs. That's why we show it to you. You can personalize it based on your health history or where you're living. Bottom line is we don't want workers to come to a point where they're scratching their head saying, why didn't someone tell me that I was going to have to pay for this? And just like the comparison tool, we're seeing the same type of reaction. Good savers become even better when they realize that there's a key piece of that equation that's missing.
Peter Kapinos, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks. I want to thank you all very much for joining us on this edition of Staying Ahead of the Curve. Hope you enjoyed the panelists and the insight that we learned today, and I hope you tune in again for more Staying Ahead of the Curve. Thank you, and goodbye.